This is from Dog Pound Daily, and it is the weakest link, the major issue with each team. And for the Browns, they say the Browns' interior defensive line. And when you look at the grading scale, they have they've given Sheldon Day a 64-7. Didn't have enough snaps. Is the only guy that they have at an acceptable level as a backup at that point. When I look at that, I think the interior defensive line has guys that are unproven. Doesn't mean they don't have talent. Means you're going to get a chance, and you better do it.
Yeah. So for defensive tackles, it's so difficult to project defensive tackles, right? And defensive tackle is a position in the league that has been devalued a little bit. Just for the simple fact that you use a lot of your pressure schemes you want to get from your ends. You want to bring some pressure you could bring from linebackers that are blitzing a little bit. Your defensive tackles it's hard to find 3-down defensive tackles. And what I mean by that, the guys like Warren Sapp, the guys that play your 3 technique, that can stop the run, strong enough that they want to double team you to the outside linebacker or double team you to the second level. He can be stout in there. He can drop his hips. He can punch, and you can't move him. He can make plays that way. Or the premium guys are the Aaron Donalds, the guys that can actually still rush and be a threat to rush and get sacks and pressure from the 3 technique. It's so difficult to do it. It's so difficult to project those guys to the next level. So now, teams, you very rarely find guys, your Richard Seymours, your Cam Haywards, your John Randalls, Cam Jordan. Those are guys that are, those guys have elite production from the standpoint of rushing the passer. So what you got to realize is you need DeForest Buckner is another one that's really good at that. You got to realize that sometimes you got to go by committee. I think they got a young guy, Perrion Winfrey, that we're all excited to see. If you ask me, who do you want to see the most? I want to see him, David Bell. I want to see some of these young guys, Anthony Schwartz. I want to see them get a chance to get into these games and be physical and keep it moving. They got a lot of guys like Jordan Elliott. Talked to Mary Kay Cabot. She's on here all the time. She was on my show last weekend, and she said, look, right now they're very high on Jordan Elliott. They think if the season started right now, he'd be one of the starters. They got a 3rd-round pick on him. So we'll figure out what we can do by committee. One of the things we got to understand is you're not going to have a superstar at every position. When you got 2 of the better defensive ends in the game, and you got fast outside linebackers, and we just talked about for 5 minutes how good the corners were. It's hard to have an all-star, all-pro guy at every position, especially at a defensive tackle position. So we'll figure out. I think somebody will step up, and they'll do it by committee.